It's not just influencer world that has people confused about dress codes at work. It's also fashion brands. Around 2022, I remember looking for a suit, and one of my friends was like, "You should check out Express. They have great women's suits." And I was like, "Okay." And I Googled, and literally at the time, the whole page, every single suit was a three-piece, and the third piece was a crop top. I couldn't find the exact, this is off Pinterest, but I was like, "Girl, I cannot wear this to work." And she was like, "Why is every single one a crop top?" And it wasn't just like a separate you could buy, it was like part of the suit. I was like, "I'm not paying for business crop top I can't wear." And this is Express right now with the midriff and jeans or a very short skirt. Either of these would get you into trouble in most white collar workspaces. I just wrapped up drafting the chapter in my book where I talk about the unwritten rule of blending in via communication and dress norms. I'll share with you a piece of it because while I love this stuff, I am clearly a terrible saleswoman that I'm sharing a second piece of my book before it's even out yet. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm Dr. Anna Kalschmidt. I'm an industrial organizational psychologist, and I research the unwritten rules of work for people from working class backgrounds, neurodivergence, and intersections of race and gender. Okay, let me know what you think. Here we go. Many organizations have dress codes because they are interpreted to be essential for the company's brand and external image, meeting the demands of customers, to distinguish employees from customers in a store, and even as a way to encourage sales, i.e., Hooters. That already hasn't aged well. Many employers fear that if they do not require dress codes, their customers will reject them. For instance, a government executive once told me that he was all for gender neutral dress codes, but he worried that Congress would resent working with people who dressed in drag or homeless looking. Quoted because they're his words, not mine. And yes, that was an interesting conversation. Close parentheses. While I have my own thoughts on those specific statements, there is some understanding on why employers might provide guidelines. However, these guidelines have historically not been distributed and enforced equally, and there is still a plethora of ambiguity. Some employers do not provide dress codes at all, relying completely on unwritten rules. However, even if there is a dress code, unwritten rules may reign. Many research participants in my own studies and others have reported abiding by dress codes but still receiving disapproving looks from not just supervisors, but also from their peers. Some have even reported that they abided by the dress code, but as soon as they wore something the organization did not like, the dress code was updated to ban it. This ambiguity leaves interpreting the unwritten rules largely on the employees, who often do not know until they are reprimanded, either directly or indirectly via a policy update. Unwritten rules abound in situations where there is a majority group who is considered normal, so the rules are outlined for everyone else to appear like them. However, since it is assumed you already share common characteristics, not all of these rules are specified. For example, if the majority of the people are from upper class backgrounds, you don't have to clarify that designer wear is expected. They have it. If the majority is white, then everyone might be expected to wear straight, slippery hair, as my mama calls it. And some of you may be reading this book thinking, what the hell is the problem? It's so easy. So let's give some brief examples of general themes I've read or been told. For physical clothing, blazers are usually preferred over jean jackets, and in many parts of the US, ladies, those shoulders better be covered. Skirts and pants are acceptable for women, however, they must not be too short or too tight. What is too short or too tight? That is not clear. It is also best if these clothes are tailored to fit you, and if they are not, people in power will notice, but they may not say anything. Footwear can be harder to define. Generally, it is closed toed. Some industries might expect you to polish your shoes regularly. If you're a woman, you might be expected to wear heels, though with some restrictions, such as no heels over 2 inches and nothing strappy or too sexy in general, unless they need your sexiness to sell products. But you might be able to get away with flats in some places. Men's dress shoes seem to be relatively straightforward, leather, and polished. However, some would argue that your shoes should match your belt. Others are less sticky about this. And of course, some fields may have some safety concerns with shoes, such as steel-toed boots and non-slick soles, etc. For hair and grooming, professional hair has typically been considered straightened and in a natural color, quotations around natural, because most white people are not blonde, yet it is allowed. There are restrictions about hair designs that are considered extreme. More on that soon. In my research, several women, particularly black women, reported that even well manicured hands could be considered taboo if their nail polish color was too bright or nails too long. Additionally, there have been several legal cases on whether women can be commanded to wear makeup or not. Some have ruled that they can be, since it is not an undue burden, while others have disagreed, saying that if men are not required to, neither can women. So, do you see what the problem is? These rules are not clear. In fact, if you Google this, many will advise you to look at your colleagues to learn what you are or are not allowed to wear at work. And if you read this section thinking that's not professional dress at all, Then welcome to my point.